Rob and Slisho, we are back with War Baby from Murderous Minors Killer Kids podcast.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
Great. How are you, War Baby? How's Arizona?
It was a little warm a week or two ago, but the weather's calming down, and it's been really nice.
So do you guys not have the COVID? Because doesn't the heat kill it?
The COVID is here. We have it, and I've been almost fully quarantined for all of March, all of April, and now all of May. So
they said the summer was going to kill it, the heat. So I don't believe that. I don't believe that for a minute.
Who knows if they even know what they're talking about?
Yeah, no, they don't. We were talking about that earlier, just about things they've said at the beginning, which is just they changed like a million times. Oh, this is so stupid. So stupid. But what have you hoarded, War Baby? I don't know, like out here you can't find toilet paper or hand soap. Is it the same all over? Or?
It was the same here, but I have noticed that starting to die down a little bit. I've been able to actually pick those things up, but man, the prices are insane.
I've heard of some places like price gouging.
I paid $5 for hand sanitizer at the grocery store the other day.
Wow. Yeah, no, where I work, I haven't noticed. Like, we have not done that. Either. Like, so but I've heard of some places. I heard of people paying like $30 for a bottle of peroxide or alcohol.
Yeah, not worth it. I'll just stay at home and die. I'm not gonna stand in line to get the COVID so I can hoard things to clean up the COVID. It doesn't make any sense. Just stay at home. It's a lot easier if you can just stay at home.
My grandfather had one of the best points. Like, did these people not clean their houses before? Or why are they buying it in so much quantities now? Like, did they not have like some shit around the house to clean with? Like, what the fuck?
Well, they seem to have a lot of energy if they can get up and stand in line to buy pallets of toilet paper. So the effort that takes, nothing's ever scared me that much. I mean, the more scared I get, the more I stay in my house. So it's just crazy that people are panicking and running out to do things because maybe in the future we can't do them. I don't understand the logic to begin with.
He who dies with the most rolls wins. I don't know. I don't know what the thinking is.
Yeah. Like what drives me is insane is now like some of the grocery stores around here are limiting meat, and my diet for like the past 7 years has been a pack of chicken thighs every night. That's what I would eat. I would just buy a pack it would have 4 chicken thighs in it, and I would fucking eat that every night of the week, and I'd buy like
1 chicken thigh.
I'd buy 4 or 5 a week. I go to the grocery store, and they're like, "Sir, you can only buy one of those."
That's too many thighs.
What the fuck? People are buying chest freezers and hoarding meat. How much fucking meat do you need to buy for a week? I just need 4 packs of chicken, and I'm fine. But you motherfuckers need a month worth of meat.
The thing about the meat, too, is that, the COVID is sweeping through all the meat processing plants. So I think that maybe we're just not getting as much meat into the stores while they try to catch up.
They're shutting down because of that, and yes, it's a bad situation. What I want to clarify though, a murderous minor is 18 and under, correct?
Generally, yes. I am going to start branching out, but yes, for the most part, I always do cases about juveniles. Sometimes they are 18. Usually, if they're still in high school, then I would count them as able to be covered on the show. But to be honest, I just did a few weeks back, I did a series. It was over 2 weeks, but we really went over the Supreme Court legislation that banned the death penalty for juveniles. So while I was doing that, we talked a lot about brain development.
Oh, okay.
So since they've decided that the juvenile brain doesn't fully mature until into the 20s, I think I'm going to occasionally start covering cases with college kids starting next week.
So COVID-19 could be a minor. COVID-19 could be a minor because it's only 19.
Technically, yes. And, really it is.
It's a murderous minor.
Yes. Well, no, just you going to that. I remember years ago I heard in England, doctors and scientists were saying, 18 is not is not an adult. They were saying I think 25 it took
Yeah.
for the mind to fully mature.
Yeah, 24 to 25, which, I mean, okay, whatever. I mean, do I buy it 100%? I mean, you can't prove it to me. So, but that's what the experts say, so that's what the legislation is based on, and that's what we go with.
Yeah.
But to me, I'm just like, you took some MRIs. I mean, you're not proving anything to me when it comes to brain science. It's just there's no way to pin it down.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it does allow me to expand the content of the show.
Yes.
So, starting next week, I think I'm going to start with the case of some college kids because, I mean, to me, murder is the kind of thing that you would think kids would do and adults wouldn't. Because if the brain develops into such a way that you become logical, but, you know, it doesn't matter how old you are. It literally doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Wow. What was it you mentioning the shows you did? What was that? Were they the ones on Timothy Bliss or Bus?
The 2 weeks before that, I did two stories that covered death row and execution, and these guys had both committed crimes at the age of 17, and just in different states and 1 year apart. But they did commit, I wouldn't call them similar crimes, other than they were both murders. But one was premeditated, one wasn't, and I just kind of spent time talking about how one of them ended up getting executed, and one of them ended up getting his case taken all the way to the Supreme Court, and his case ended up being the basis upon which we abolished the death penalty for juveniles. And it just blew my mind because the crime was so horrible that it's hard to grapple with the fact that, okay, so this is the kind of case that says, oh, we shouldn't execute minors.
Yeah.
So I talk about the death penalty and people getting their sentences commuted a lot. So I thought it was kind of time to talk about the laws that made that possible. So that's what we did for 2 weeks. And then I covered the Timothy Bus case.
Okay.
Cases, I should say.
First of all, I didn't think they executed minors ever. I mean, in our country.
Oh,
at least.
we used to.
Wow, that's mind blowing. Yeah, no, I didn't know that was ever a thing. And I wanted to ask, what did Timothy Bus do?
Well, Timothy Bus, when he was 13 years old, he murdered a 5-year-old neighbor. And he received a 25-year sentence. And this occurred in 1981. So at the time, the law was such that you got a day of good behavior for a day that you served. So if you behaved yourself once you reached the adult part of his prison sentence, he would be able to get out at about 50% of the time. And he did. He was released after 12 and a half years, and then about 14 and a half years later, he killed another boy who was 10 years old. And in the second episode, I do speak with his mother, who I've known now for about 18 months, ever since I saw her on a TV show, and I was just like, I need to know this woman. So we've been friends for a little bit now, and then she was awesome enough to come on and help me tell the story of what Tim Bus did to her child.
Is it hard talking to a victim's mother? Like, I'm freaked out. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if I could talk to somebody like that. Fuck.
You know, it helps that the victims' mothers that I've spoken with so far, they have foundations for their kids. They go to Congress, you know, they work with other people to get legislation passed and programs put in place so that the things that happen to their kids don't happen to other kids. And so these are the kinds of moms that I approach. The ones that I can tell are already, you know, they have a Twitter page, they have Instagram and Facebook. They talk about their child. They want their child to be remembered. And these are the kinds of moms, I don't seek out just any type of victim's mom. You know, I have to be confident that you're going to be comfortable, and this isn't going to be something that I'm going to halfway try to talk you into, because that's not what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
I just really appreciate when my listeners can hear things from the mouths of the people that they happen to, and there's really no better way than getting somebody to come on your show and really explain to people how it feels to have your child murdered by someone who should have still been in prison.
Yes. Do you feel like that's something that sets your show apart? Like, I feel like that's something very unique for a show to do.
Well, lots and lots of true crime shows interview family members of perpetrators and victims.
Okay.
I don't know if I've ever seen anyone work it into their narrative scripts, so it's more like a question and answer type of situation. But since that's not how my show is generally set up, I usually try to keep it in a storytelling format. And then I just interject, with the interesting parts of our conversation. And that way you don't hear any of our personal off-topic banter or our giggles that have to do with the weather or our pets. None of that stuff makes it in because I want you to focus on what I'm trying to explain to you.
I feel like that would be a cool sideshow.
It works really well.
I feel like that'd be cool, like maybe Patreon episode, like War Baby and victims' mothers do the weather, like that.
Or just giggle together.
Yeah, giggling with War Baby.
Giggling with War Baby.
I wish that I support a lot of shows on Patreon, but I don't push myself to offer content behind a paywall.
Yeah.
So it's not, I have one and people support me, but I never put special things up. Everything I want to tell people, I want everyone to hear, I feel like it's important things. It's not about what kind of drinks I'm having in quarantine, which is weed, by the way. And it's not
that's a liquid?
Anything like that. It's just, there's, each of these stories has a reason why you should hear it. And
quarantining with War Baby.
I want you to focus just on that and not what I'm smoking.
Yeah.
Different types of weed with War Baby. Different strains with War Baby.
That's a whole nother show.
Right? Patreon.
Damn right.
Paywall.
That could be a paywall show. It's a spin-off.
We're a medical marijuana state, so I'll just put that out there. So
Gotcha.
I'm damaged goods, boys. Damn it.
Who isn't? I feel like you're either a medical marijuana state or a legal marijuana state at this point. Are there any that aren't?
Well,
medical?
They have just made it so easy to get a medical marijuana card. You don't even have to leave the comfort of your own home. So it might as well be legal, but for $255.
Just like you fill out like a survey on the internet?
So the $255, does that get you like a month? Or is that like a year? What are we talking here?
Well, boys, for the low price of $255, you have access to 2 years of medical marijuana dispensary privileges.
That's worth it. That's totes worth it.
I still want to know, do I just pay the money, or do I have to answer a questionnaire? Like what?
You got a headache? You say yes. You got 2 years.
I think this time at my renewal, this was the first time I encountered it. It was about 3 questions, and then you took a photograph of yourself, and then you uploaded your driver's license. Paid the $255, and then they said a doctor may or may not contact you, and in my case, it was may not. I never spoke to anyone, and in 9 minutes, I was good for another 2 years.
Does it help? Wow. Does it help to frown or smile or thumbs up in the picture?
Do you dress up for the picture? Like
you dress
look
down?
Like
what do you?
Right,
What's the
I wore
the
a Rastafarian hat with fake dreadlocks because you guys know I have short hair, and I threw a peace sign. So
all right.
They found it to be completely acceptable and perhaps expected. So the waiting game begins.
Touche, War Baby. That's amazing.
And now we wait. So
I want to say, I don't know when we first connected how your downloads and all were, but aren't you upward to 2 million downloads right now?
I'm approaching 2 million. I did lose several 100,000 when I switched hosts.
Oh.
So in my mind, I've already celebrated my 2 million. But yeah, I'm approaching. It looks like I'm going to get there in half of the amount of time it took me to get to the first million. So I'm really happy about that because I spend practically every waking moment working on this show, and I just put so much work into it that just seeing my downloads continue to even just be steady is enough for me to keep going.
Wow. That's amazing. And just like I think we said one of the last few times we spoke, just when we first connected, just the quality of your show, everything, you seem to quickly advance. You quickly, got better.
Well, I've just been learning as I go along, and I used to use a producer they were fantastic, but I'm usually recording and editing my show maybe on the same day that I'm releasing it because it's just a lot of research. And then my scripts, they just get out of control. So sometimes I'm really pushing it. So I don't work well with an outside producer because I'm not good at, like their deadlines and stuff. I would never get put out if I had to wait for, edits for 3 days back and forth. So it's a lot easier if I just kind of slap it together myself. And I don't know if everyone sounds different. I don't know if everyone sounds like I did it. Who knows? Because, the minute I upload it, I'm on to the next one, and I never look back.
Cool. I was going to say, I feel like with your show, just the research would be, I don't know, maybe like a week's worth. Like, it would be a lot. It would be a lot of fact finding and research.
Yeah, it really is. And so I try to use some other creative ways to get around having to do a lot of that internet-based research. So sometimes I'll use like a book. Like if one person wrote one book about a case, which happened to happen in the Tim Bus case. I didn't know about the book until after I knew about the case, but the court reporter on the original 1981 case ended up writing a book after Christopher Meyer was murdered in 1995. And so that book is kind of the definitive work. And then plus I had Micah, so Chris's mom. So those two resources literally cut out all of that newspaper research I would have had to do. So I was able to get those two episodes out back to back because it was just a lot easier to do. So
see, for me, like to read a book, that would be like, wow, that's gonna take me a minute. Like I don't know.
Well, I'm a pretty fast reader, so I kind of read the book and wrote my script as I went along, and then it was 25 pages, so that I was like, this is going to be, a double. And I wrote it all in a different order than she had, and just what I wanted to say.
Wow.
But all the good things were in there, dates and times, people's names, all in one place, and so it made it really easy to condense all my facts and just pull out what I wanted to talk about.
Wow, that is just such an amazing process to hear, because for me, it's like Friday, I write Too Many Rapes, and Tuesday, I do guest prep. But what I find when I do guest prep, a half an hour of guest prep is a half an hour in an interview. Like, I spend... The time I talk to you is the time I spend to do, the prep. So it's
absolutely.
It goes in that way.
The background work is so intense, and everyone's like, "Did you record? Did you record?" And I'm like, recording is not the hard part. Recording I can get done in the amount of time the episode's going to be plus 10 minutes. It's everything else that takes so much time.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's a difficult process, but I can't even believe that I've gotten to the point where I can release every week, because when I released every 2 weeks, I never thought I would reach this point.
Oh, so you had been at a point where it was 2 weeks, because that's what I feel like with a show like yours. It would just it would take so much.
Yeah, that's what you would think, but I'm really cranking them out right now, so.
Yes, you rock.
I don't sleep, and I don't do anything else, but I am cranking them out right now, so I have that.
I feel like the quarantine is the best thing that could happen.
You would think so, but it just gives you a day that has no beginning and no end.
Yeah. Yes.
Because I can sleep anytime. My daughter's my youngest isn't even in school, so I can sleep anytime. I can wake up anytime. And really, you just have to make meals. But, mostly all my kids are grown. So my youngest child is 17. So it's like, it's really just like, it's like the real world. It's like we're 5 strangers picked to live in a house. We're just all thrown together. We're all quirky. We have our own wants and needs and likes, and we're just trying to do the best we can and hope we all make it out alive.
Yeah. Oh, goddamn. I
miss the movies, and I miss concerts, and I didn't get to go to CrimeCon. And if I don't think about that stuff, then it's great. If you don't think about everything you're missing that got postponed, then quarantine is fine. It's just you can't dwell too much in all the tickets that are going unused all over the country for everything that you thought you were going to do in 2020.
Yeah, absolutely. What else does the War Baby do for fun? Video games?
I watch a lot of TV.
Yeah. What are you currently watching?
Well, we're a little bit out of quarantine, so I've had a few house guests the past couple of days, so we've just been binging things on. To be honest, we started binging Little Women of Atlanta, a reality show from a few years ago about a bunch of little women. I'm sure you guys are probably familiar with this. I've never watched it.
No, yeah, that's what I want to know. Like tiny
I was
people,
thinking like housewives, but are we talking about
like
dwarfs?
midgets? Yeah, dwarfs.
Not midgets.
Dwarfs.
Yeah, dwarfs. I think it's a mixture of perhaps dwarfs and midgets, if we're going to be, politically
Dwidgets.
correct about it. They
Dwidgets.
all fall under the umbrella of little people. In this case, Little Women. And so we've just been having fun. I like to. I just watched all of Bosch on Amazon. I love Billions on Showtime. I love that kind of stuff, but I don't make my family watch that. I'll watch fun stuff with them. Any trashy Netflix reality show, any reality show.
What
90 Day
about
Fiancé. We watch it all here.
Tiger
we don't
King?
discriminate.
Tiger King?
Oh yeah, I watched that the day it dropped. I've been following that story for years because my favorite podcast, besides you guys, of course, but the last podcast on the left, they've been talking about them for
awesome.
years. So
Have they?
I've known who this guy is forever, and then it dropped, and I just didn't realize anyone else would care.
My friend
But,
Jake at work, when I asked him about it, he's like, I haven't seen the series, but I've been watching him for years on Facebook. Like, yeah.
Absolutely. He's definitely had a presence for quite a long time if you're looking for that kind of off-brand mullet type of Spurs humor.
I don't know why I wasn't
Arizona.
looking. I
That's
should have
what
been.
I'm all about.
Yeah.
So then being someone, Warberry, who's gotten behind the heads of murderers, even if they are just children, do you think Joe Exotic is a murderer? You think he really was going to try to kill Carol Baskin?
Or tried. Yeah.
I mean, unfortunately, given what we know that's been released, I would say yes, because if you look at him, it's not so much about being a murderer, but he has definitely got some kind of personality disorder, maybe like narcissistic or something. He only does things that for him.
What about
he doesn't
Carol?
care about
What
all
about
these
Carol
young
and her
men's
husband?
lives he's ruining and, things like that.
Yeah.
Now, of course, he hires all of these people in a way that makes it seem like he's doing them a favor, but he's really just giving himself slave labor.
Oh, wow, yeah, I didn't even think of that.
I need a new intern, so maybe I need to go that route.
Slave.
Maybe I need to go that route.
Yeah, he does this, come here, I'll help you, but really, he's not doing anything for them except making sure he has people that do whatever he says, and he can pay them as little or as much as he wants. They're prisoners practically.
So very much like a cult leader, so he is kind of like a Manson, like a cult
I felt that
leader,
way
right?
more about the other guy. What was the other guy? With
Don.
Don.
Doc?
Yeah,
Doc.
Doc. That's what
Yes, that's what I
Doc
thought about him.
Antle.
If you want to move up at the company,
You gotta
open
lick
your
these
legs.
balls.
Yeah.
You gotta dress like a tiger.
Just
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not going to dress like a tiger at work. I don't care if you were in Britney Spears' video or not. I just feel like any of these people, any of these characters in this show, anyone who would imprison wild animals in their home for their own pleasure and think that's okay. I mean, I'm not like a fucking activist of shit, but that's kind of messed up. Like, you just don't put a chimpanzee in your living room and be like, you're fine. He's not fine, dude. He's not. He doesn't want to be there, and he'll eat you. The minute you slip and fall and hit your head, he'll eat your face.
He will maul you.
That's what you have to look for. It's the circle of life.
Yes.
So
Hakuna
any of these
Matata.
guys, there's a
Hakuna
little bit
Matata.
something off about them because
Yeah.
they just care too much about themselves.
Yeah. Absolutely. War Baby, thank you as always. It's always a fucking pleasure to talk to you. Where can everybody find you?
Well, if you look hard enough, you can literally find me everywhere. I have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, I live stream on Get Vocal and from my Facebook group now every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Pacific, so that's always a fun time. And you can find the podcast Murderous Minors Killer Kids on Apple, Spotify, iHeart, wherever you get your shows. And let me know what everyone thinks. I love to hear feedback from listeners, even if you're talking shit. I'll still take it.
Even if it's Slambo, he talks a lot of shit.
He does.
Yeah, I see him. Yeah, I see him there talking so much crap.
I make your badge all weird and
Okay,
crazy.
well, yeah, he does.
With my
Okay.
dick!
Yeah, I can't control the guy. He's
That was really rude.
yeah.
New Slambo.
Come on, New Slambo.
New Slambo is seriously out of control.
He is.
He's like COVID-20.
I'm jerking off, baby! It's all over!
He's slamvid. He's slamvid 20,
Slamvid
2020, I think.
2020.
I don't know.
That is exactly right.
Slamvid.
We're sorry he disrespected you, War Baby. But we won't. He's got a V-neck.
Driz, Driz will take care of him for me. Driz
Yeah.
will never let New Slambo ever disrespect me.
Yeah, that's right.
Driz always got your back.
You know how
That's
it is.
what I'm talking about.
All right, War Baby, stay safe. We will talk soon.
Thank you. Love you guys.
Love you so much.
Y'all have a good one, baby. I war.